So that's how tigers got their stripes. They got the color whipped out of them. Now check this out. Hello, this is Api Ngo, the chain smoking writer. This is where I share the myths, legends and histories of the Chinese people, from the first creators to the last imperial dynasty. Today, we are going to continue with the journeys of our early Chinese ancestors with the story of Shen Nong, the father of medicine. As we mentioned in earlier episodes, the early humans are still in the hunter-gatherers society at this moment. And during Shen Nong's time, population was starting to grow and food sources were becoming even bigger issue. People would go hungry and many would suffer the consequences of starvation. And Shen Nong saw this as a pressing issue that needed to be solved as soon as possible. And he thought that wouldn't it be nice if there was some way that people could grow their own foods, maybe grains or certain fruit trees. He thought, wouldn't it be nice if humans have control over the cultivation of their own food sources? Therefore, Shen Nong traveled far and wide across the land to find suitable plants that people could cultivate for food, and it could be cultivated at scale to meet the demands of the growing population. And after years of traveling, he found a suitable plant in the south where it grew fast and strong, and it produced bountiful grains to satisfy the needs of the people. So Shen Nong brought these grains back with him and taught the people how to grow them and cultivate them. And when the grains were ripe, he taught the people how to harvest them and process them into an edible form for themselves. He then prayed for the sun to shine down with enough light and warmth to help the plants grow fast and strong. Then he asked the ancient deity Master Red Pine or Chi Song Zi to regulate the rains so that proper amounts of rainfall and water would come down onto the fields to help the plants grow. Thus, the rain came regularly and the sun shone down on the land with warmth and light for the plants to thrive. And the harvests were bountiful, and the people now had a regular source of food and nutrition. And of course, they were happy about it and they were grateful to Shen Nong for his contribution. They sung about his virtues and they praised him to the gods, and they made him king of the tribe. And after Shen Nong solved the problem of food, he turned his attention to another pressing issue that was facing the people, and that was sickness and illnesses. In the days without proper medical knowledge, anyone who fell sick was literally at the mercy of the heavens. They either got better on their own, with their own immune system kicking in, or they died from whatever diseases they were down with. And although these people had some idea of certain plants that had curative purposes, but it was not a codified system, and it was not easy to differentiate between plants that were curative and plants that were basically poisonous and that would kill you. So it was throwing the dice every time you pluck something to eat and hope that it cured you, or pray hard that it didn't kill you. Seeing that Shen Nong was worried about his people, the god of the North Star, Dong Huang Tai Yi, gifted Shen Nong with a book in which was recorded all the medical procedures that you can use to treat illnesses and sicknesses. Also in the book, it was recorded that all manners of medicinal plants with curative properties could be found in the mountains in the northwest. And after reading the book, Shen Nong decided that it was imperative that he made the journey to the great mountains of the northwest to bring back all these curative plants for the people. Shen Nong brought with him a retinue of followers, and they traveled for 49 days over treacherous terrain before they could see the mountain ranges in the distance. Covered in lush vegetation and strange mineral rocks, with its peaks shrouded in the clouds, it was indeed a majestic sight for these people. And just as they were there, standing in awe of the view, a pack of lions, leopards, and wolves rushed out of the woods and attacked them. And Shen Nong and his followers pull out their whips to defend themselves against this bloodthirsty beast. And after a hard battle that lasted for 7 days and 7 nights, Shen Nong and his followers finally managed to fight off this beast. And the whip marks that were left on the tigers and the leopards and the wolves became the stripes and the spots on tigers and leopards that we see today. So yeah, that's how the tiger got its stripes. And when they finally made it to the base of the great mountains, they were faced with an insurmountable sheer cliff face. And they were all at a loss at how they are going to overcome this latest hurdle. And it was at this time, Shen Nong saw monkeys clambering up the cliff face using vines and branches as handholds and footrests. So Shen Nong instructed his followers to chop down the nearby trees to construct scaffoldings and ladders to scale this cliff face. And they constructed 1 level of scaffolding per day. So after a year, they managed to reach the top of the mountain on 360 levels of scaffoldings. The top of the mountain was as promised, covered in all sorts of vegetation and flowers and plants of all kinds of colors that were known or unknown to man at the time. Shen Nong then instructed his followers to plant straight fir trees around the area to act as windbreaks, to shelter them from the harsh winds and conditions of the mountaintop. And behind the windbreaks, that was where Shen Nong and his followers constructed their basic dwellings and settlement. And once the people has been settled, Shen Nong started on his mission to test and taste every single kind of plant and vegetation. It was said that Shen Nong had a transparent torso or stomach area, so he could see straight in to the reactions that the various plants that he consumed would cause in his body. Shen Nong also prepared 2 sacks that he hung over his shoulders. For plants that are delicious and edible, he would put them into the sack on his left shoulder. And for plants that are really unsavory but had medicinal properties, he would put them into the sack over his right shoulder. First, Shen Nong tasted Chinese licorice. It was pleasant and it had the ability to cool and remove toxins from the human body. Then he tasted dark plums, which were used for generating saliva in the mouth and improving the appetite of the consumer. And it also had the ability to cleanse the lungs and to cleanse the intestines. Pepper chilies soothes the breathing passages, and mustard basically brought on the tears, and so on and so forth. Shen Nong went on to continue tasting and trying all the different plants that he could see. On one of the mornings, Shen Nong plucked a new leaf from the tip of a plant, and when he swallowed it, he could observe the leaf cleaning and scrubbing through his entire digestive system. It was cleaning out all the dirt and the grime and the grease that had accumulated over time in his body. And he felt so refreshed after the little leaf has made its round in his system. And he was so pleased with the beneficial effects of this little leaf, and he put it into the sack over his left shoulder. And he named the leaf Cha, which basically has a similar sound to the Chinese term for scrubbing, which is cha. And cha later became chai, and in certain places it became known as tea. Yes, that is the origin of tea that everyone loves so much. On another occasion, Shen Nong ingested a highly poisonous plant. The moment this plant touched his lips, all energy was sapped from him and he fell to the ground without even the ability to speak anymore. All his followers were alarmed and they were at a loss at what to do. I mean, their great leader that brought so much contribution to humanity has fallen and they have no idea what they could do to save him. With his last ounce of strength, Shen Nong pointed to a bright red fungus that was growing at the foot of an old tree, and he gestured to his own mouth. His followers immediately understood what he was trying to say, and they plucked the fungus and they crushed it and they fed it to Shen Nong. The toxins were immediately flushed out of Shen Nong's system, and he recovered himself in no time. The plant was later named Lingzhi or Gadoderma, and it was henceforth known as a miracle drug or miracle cure in Chinese medicinal records. Even today, Lingzhi is known to be a very, very useful plant with many beneficial effects on the human body. When Shen Nong finished testing all the plants he could find on one mountain, he moved on to the next one and the next one and the next one, so on and so forth. And by the end of his mission, he has catalogued 356 medicinal herbs and plants, and he has found the 5 main grains and cereals. The 5 cereals and grains being soybean, wheat, broom corn, foxtail millet, and hemp. And he greatly expanded the staple foods of the people by that time. And all these findings, Shen Nong recorded in the book called Shen Nong Bencao Jing, which translates to the Divine Farmer's Herb Root Classic. And it was passed on through generations until today. After all these years of hard work, Shen Nong was finally satisfied that his mission was a success, and he wanted to bring his followers back with him to the original settlements they came from. But when they reached the place where they originally scaled the cliff, they found that the scaffoldings and the ladders that they had built years ago has actually grown into a dense forest, and there was no way out of the mountains now. And it was at this time that a flock of red-crowned cranes, try saying that fast 10 times in a row, man. Red-crowned cranes appeared in the sky, and they landed in front of them, and basically this flock of cranes was sent by the heavens to carry Shen Nong and his followers back to the heavenly realms as a reward for their contribution to mankind. Now, there are a few points I would like to touch on in this story. In popular myth and histories of the Chinese people, Shen Nong and another character, Yan Di, were often either conflated or viewed as the same person or character. But in this series, we are taking a different direction. Yan Di will be a separate character that I will talk about in a future episode, and Shen Nong is a separate character on its own. And this actually brings to another point, which is that so far we've talked about Fu Xi, Sui Ren, You Chao, and all these characters. And in mythological sense, we would attribute their discoveries and findings to singular characters. We talk about Sui Ren as a singular character, we talk about Fu Xi as a singular character, and like today we talk about Shen Nong as a singular character. But one little detail in all this telling of the stories and in the records and in the books written in Old Chinese, they were Shen Nong Shi, Fu Xi Shi, Sui Ren Shi, which in a way, in certain sense, you could also translate it to mean the tribe of Shen Nong, the tribe of Fu Xi, the tribe of Sui Ren, the tribe of You Chao. So in a way, historically, in a more historical sense, you could say that all these discoveries that we have spoken about so far are actually the cumulative discoveries and contributions made by a people rather than a singular character. But of course, it is more interesting when you have stories like this where it was attributed to singular characters. So that is one point I hope that I can explain or share with you guys out there. And the next point in this bonus facts and trivial section, I would like to touch on is the beginning of agriculture and the cultivation of grains in ancient civilization. Archaeologists have found signs of grains and cultivated grains and vegetable seeds in the graves and archaeological sites of the Neolithic people about 7,000-8,000 years ago in China. So it is very strong evidence that the Neolithic people of about 8,000 years ago already has a rudimentary grasp on agriculture and growing food for themselves. So cultivated foods and grains, especially millet, were a common staple diet of the people around the Yellow River region, mostly to the western part of the Yellow River region. That was where they found a lot of these leftover artifacts or evidence of early agricultural practices among the Neolithic people. Well, I hope this video has been interesting for you, and if you find that I have earned your time, please, it will help me out a lot if you would click on the like button and subscribe to the channel if you would like to hear more stories like this. And if you would like to connect with me on other social media platforms or read more of these stories on my website, all the links are below in the description section. And you know, I would love to hear from you regarding stories about your cultures, early agricultural endeavors, and stuff like that. I mean, any interesting facts about the history of your culture, I'll be interested in. So I guess that's it for now, and I'll see you soon.